It's wrong to criticize leaders of the church, even if the criticism is true.
Travis might get so. I'll do this video, then go for my run, and then come back and upload it. First off, thank all of you for your thumbs up for the Paleo-Hebrew girl of my dreams, but that doesn't help me get connected with her. Does no good. I don't want support. I want her. So after Sunday's talk by Holland to the young adults out here in West Jordan, apparently we have a theme song for the month that I wasn't quite sure, but apparently he has decided, yes, Dawkins' Lightning Strikes Again is the theme song for the month of November. Now, if you remember September, well, that was Earth, Wind, and Fire's September. That was all month long, baby. And you never thanked me for it. Ghostbusters Afterlife is in production right now. But that was Groundhog Day. And so, as I did some further research, Holland sent me a death threat. Oh my God! They just won't stop with the death threats. You can't just let me live my life. Live and let die. Oh my God! So yes, I did that video, and as I mentioned in there, is he sending me a death threat? Well, yes he is. And if you don't remember, and I'm pretty sure you don't, last year, I believe it was in June, Holland, one Monday morning, was being interviewed online by an Israeli rabbi for his channel on YouTube, and afterwards, the defense counsel for the church were then able to inform him whether they waited for him to join the rest of the group to inform them all together, because the defense counsel has to counsel the defense. That's their job. And so, yeah, they were always updated on the filings. Yes, it was my case. And I noticed that the prophets, Nelson specifically, was responding to what I put in the filings, as it was coded through the church news. Now, if you don't understand, the church news is not an independent organization. They are told what to put out there. Now, there may be some who get freedom to do their own thing, but there are strict guidelines and restrictions. But the main ones, the prophets tell them. The president tells them what to put in there. Just like all the church magazines, the prophet tells them the theme and tells them what to have put in there. just like the manuals. There's a member of the 70 who's in charge of all of these areas to carry out the assignment of the president of the church. How do you know this, Travis? Because I was involved in one of them. That has made an impact in your lives, and you have never thanked me. And so we found out from the church news 2 weeks later that Holland didn't take the latest filing that Monday morning very well. You can see in the video he's doing just fine. He's very alert, very healthy, no signs of any kind of distress or need to be rushed to a hospital. But something happened that caused him to go to the hospital, and it wasn't coronavirus. We were made sure that it wasn't coronavirus. Oh, just hilarious. Yeah, it was about the inverted pentagram at headquarters. Carved in stone evidence. I don't see Gaddy, Kay Birmingham, putting that into evidence. What's wrong with you, Kay? Getting your butt kicked. But there's scriptures. There's scriptures. Not just the one that Holland sort of left information out, and which needs footnoting to Doctrine and Covenants section 101 verse 43, which is where Joseph got that from, was Jeremiah 6 that Holland referred to. But it's Doctrine and Covenants section 8 verse 8, and all Mormons know this, even though they all get it wrong because they assume it's them. So when they drink Mountain Dew or they say the word hell instead of H-E double hockey sticks, or fetchin', scretchin', scribbly D, or whatever they think is superstitious idol worship, all of it. Nonetheless, you'll recognize it when I read it. While that man who was called of God and appointed, that putteth forth his hand to steady the ark of God, shall fall by the shaft of death, like as a tree that is smitten by the vivid shaft of lightning. Lightning strikes again. Lightning! Yeah, where does Joseph Smith get this? I mean, this is weird. He throws out all these scriptures just out of his magic hat with a rock in it, right? He doesn't get them from any particular source. He's not of sound mind, right? Yeah, nobody believes that, right? or Deuteronomy, chapter 18. After talking about the one mighty and strong, like Moses, he then tells us, but the prophet, verse 20 of Deuteronomy 18, which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak. Oh, false prophet? Yeah, that's what Joseph was referring to. Or shall speak in the name of other gods, like Jesus of Constantine. Even that prophet shall die. Where's the vivid shaft of lightning? Lightning! Lightning strikes again. Now, is it striking again? Was there a first strike that hit? Well, Jeffrey R. Holland knows. The whole prophets know, and they know from my video that I did earlier this year. when I found out about November, this coming Friday. 19th, 19th, 19th. Yes, there are patterns, observable patterns. This is not creation out of nothing, creatio ex nihilo, as Constantine did to create Jesus. No, this is using science to say, oh, okay, well, this lunar eclipse happened here in that constellation, and it's referred to as this type of moon, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, is it? Yeah. So I noticed the pattern and did the video. It was over an hour explaining in detail, going over the patterns. There are multiple patterns, depending on which one bites the big one. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, lunar eclipses are associated with the deaths of Mormon prophets. I don't understand it. That's just the pattern. I don't claim to give a prophecy for this Friday, but Holland is. He's giving me the death threat. Just as the one commenter after I did that video, as I remembered after I made the video. Yes, there was a commenter who commented, maybe it'll be you this time and not Nelson. A death threat, huh? YouTube knows about this. I reported him. I also reported on Holland. Nah, 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 nah. Because they know where I live. They have the death threat billboard on my morning run. Last month, I was notified earlier in the month that 45 people were searching for my address online. 45 people. Wow. Not just looking for me, as I'm constantly, daily being informed. You know, people look for me on LinkedIn and academia and through Google search. But this was an actual specific address of Travis Wayne Goodsell. Called a death threat. It's illegal. You will go to prison. It doesn't make the church true. It makes the church false. Just saying, you know, if you want to prove the church is false, by all means commit further crimes. So Holland, you need to cease and desist. You're supposed to be setting a good example for Mormons. Naughty boy, just like Oakes, who's a naughty boy who did his anti-government speech on Friday. Also in reply to me. Everybody's in on it. And if you don't understand coded communications, then you've never seen the movie Con Air. Gag 'em and bag 'em. There were several codings in there, but one, you know, put down the bunny. Why couldn't you just put down the bunny? That's code. It had nothing to do with the bunny. It was code. The other one was using the Last Supper with the eyes cut out so that you can see letters on the letter sent with the Last Supper picture. And by putting it over the letter, you would see the letters and you write them down, and then you get a sentence about the code. And if you've seen National Treasure, lots of codes on that one with the Knights Templar. Oh, wait, that was the Smiths organization. They were involved with the Knights Templar of the York Rites. Huh. So maybe the Doctrine and Covenants could be coded when it's talking about Shinha and Oleha in section 117. I wonder if there were others. Oh, what, there were? And they were decoded in the 1981 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants? Wow, they used code? I wonder where they got... Oh, right, the Knights Templar. With the Freemasonry. Oh, wait a minute. Does that mean that Joseph Smith's history, which is not history, could also be coded? Yes. That's why September was Earth, Wind, and Fire Month. And you have never thanked me. But then the Book of Mormon? It's not history either. What? Oh, whoa. Oh, yeah, that Jesus guy. Are we sure it's Jesus? Or is it the sun at noonday? That's a different deity, Christ. Yeah, that's the name Isaiah gives. That Matthew says, I'm going to name him Jesus anyway. Screw Emmanuel. And yeah. And so Holland misquotes Jeremiah. Pretty important, as the church already botched the manuals. We've gone over that when it happened this year, this Doctrine and Covenants Church History year. It went over that, section 101, and the parable, and they tried to pass the blame onto you because the prophets are infallible and they would never flee the church, leaving the Mormons to be destroyed and the church to be destroyed. No, the prophets are true. Right, Holland? You would never lie to us and deceive us. Right, Holland? Right, Holland? In case you don't know, Holland has had some problems with telling the truth. There's this, what was it? Was it Harvard? Where he told some big ones before an audience of lawyers. And other ex-Mormon channels covered that one in great detail. You just have to put down Holland and lying and whoop, all over the feed. And then there was the BBC article or interview. And then there was the more recent one where he went to, I think he went down south, was talking in a stake center down there, and is having a little discussion, and comes right out and says, we would never lie to you. We would never be promoting a fraud on you. He's referring to church history. The one thing that they cannot tell the truth about. Even when things are exposed, they still can't tell the truth. You know, the most infamous of all, Joseph Smith says, Egyptian gold plates. Gold, Egyptian plates. I'm sure that's not code from the Knights Templar. 200 pounds, $4 million plus. and that has been the storyline this whole time, that it's a literal, real history. It's not code. And now it's known, because of Martin Harris, that Joseph Smith used a hat and placed Urim and Thummim, 2 rocks, not 1, 2 rocks, and so it's gone all over the world now. Everybody knows about it, and so the church finally has admitted, and they have brought out 1 rock, the nice polished one, not the other, the Urim and Thummim, and said, yes, here it is, as if it's been that information the whole time. And so there are Mormons who are leaving. James Huntsman sued because, hey, wait a minute, you told me it was a direct translation from the Egyptian gold plates, and now you're telling me it was a rock and a hat? He didn't even need the plates? And so, yeah, Mormons are leaving in mass numbers. At least 12 to 13 million have now said, I'm out. They haven't signed the paperwork to make it official. They just said, I'm not going anymore. I've had enough. I'm out. I want nothing to do with this church. Because they all know about the death threats. They know about the extortion, the guilt trips, the mean, abusive nature of Mormons that punish people for daring to molest and make afraid just by leaving. And the disowning of family members. And just outright evil that Mormons do because they're the one true church under Jesus, not Emmanuel. I had a non-Mormon, just a regular guy, Christian, begging me, please tell me you did not say that Jesus is not real. I had to link him to the Nicene Council. Sorry, guys. In order to show the church is false, it's necessary to bring in certain Christian elements because the church claims to be Christian. See, I don't do videos attacking Christianity and Christian doctrines and, oh, how stupid are they? Or Islam, oh, Muhammad, no, I don't do any of that. I stick to my church that had lied to me from my birth. That I found out are criminals, terrorists, trying to overthrow our government. And so that's the focus. So don't be thinking that I'm the bad guy, that I deserve to be assassinated. Because you will be making false accusations, and Deuteronomy 19 follows up on this false prophet and why he's the one to die. It has to do with false accusers, false witnesses. When they issue a false accusation and it's followed up with the penalty that they want, you stole from me, you need to die. You, the false accuser, are then, according to the law of Moses, supposed to be punished with that which you have sought for the falsely accused. And this is where Holland and Nelson and the prophets, because they all have to have a unanimous voice to make any and all decisions. Yeah. Lightning strikes again. Lightning! Yeah, they falsely accused me. Nelson called me a traitor over the pulpit of conference. Wow. Wow. And then issued a death threat. So false accusation with the penalty for the false accusation. Thus, it goes back on to Nelson. And now Holland has done it. So it goes back on to Holland. And we have a deadline coming up for the pattern. So, rather than go over the whole video again, we'll just go over when the lightning first struck Thomas S. Monson. See, unless you saw my videos, you are clueless about what actually was going on in the heavens. So under Monson, there was a full-blood blue super wolf total lunar eclipse. Yeah, it was awesome. It was on the 31st of January, 2018. And if you're saying, well, Monson didn't die then, it was on the 2nd. Yeah, that's part of the pattern that I was going over with you. They don't necessarily happen. In fact, none of them happen on the day of the lunar eclipse, which is why I did it way back earlier this year. Is because any time now, from here until Friday, we should look to see if the pattern will repeat itself. And then I got the death threat. Maybe it'll be you. Okay. Well, you see, on Monson's death day, though, death night, 10:02 p.m., there was a sign in the heavens. This changed the pattern, created a brand new pattern. And it's still a doublet. If there's one by Friday morning. And I'm stressing that it'll be Friday morning, because that's when Holland is saying I'm going to die. On Monson's death night, there was the quadranted meteor showers from Revelation chapter 12. Stars fall from the tail of the dragon, the third largest of the year. A third of the stars fall from the tail of the dragon, Draco the dragon. Quadranted meteor showers from the tail of Draco the dragon. That's when it occurred. And it was a super wolf full moon. Anybody familiar with false prophets in Matthew chapter 7? You shall know them by their fruits. Wolves in sheep's clothing. False prophets are associated with wolves. Monson dies under a super wolf moon. A super full wolf moon. The first of the two for that month. And the second one was the total blood blue super wolf total lunar eclipse. Do you understand now? I can't explain it. That's what happened. And so, yes, it was a death threat for me or from the guy to me, when he says maybe it'll be you next time. And I meant to check. I hope I don't shut it off, and I probably will. So I will check. I'm running into running time period. See, the prophets watch my videos, and I talk about I need to go for a run now. They're able to see the time on the clock. They know when the lunar eclipse is going to occur this Friday, when it's during my run. They already set up the billboard with the death threat. They already had Nelson attempting to have me murdered over the pulpit of conference, and as we all know now, that failed. The person is still in the hospital, though. So let me check where the constellation was that Monson's moons were, because it would have been in a different moon for the when he died versus the lunar eclipse one, and I'm likely to have a bombshell thing for you, and then I'll get into Fridays and describe that one for you. Alrighty, yeah, sure enough, the stars were falling from heaven there too. It was in Cancer, the crab, which anciently was understood as one of the serpents that attacks and tries to destroy the hero of the story. So that was kind of interesting how the ancients all talked about this Christ, and not Jesus, who was named Hercules or Perseus. Yeah, isn't that interesting? There were the Cancrids at that time with the... Oh, I forgot to check the other one at the lunar eclipse. This was his death night. So I'm going to have to shut this down again. It was near the Geminids that were also going on at this time. The twins... Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, hold on another second. And there it is. There's the bombshell. You can't make this up. Oh, dear God. It is etched in the historical archives of space. Forever. It was known about forever. It happened, and now it'll always be remembered forever. The moon eclipsed was right there in Cancer. It was firmly in Cancer this time, rather than on the outer edge. And the Cancrids were still going on. It's now in direct conjunction with the Cancrids. And guess where that location is in Cancer? Guess what it's called? You can't make this up. The Beehive Cluster. Oh my God. What's the Beehive State, Mormons? Oh my God, that is hilarious. Lightning strikes again. Oh my God. So Friday. It's just awesome. This Friday, you can. It begins after midnight. It's noticeable on my stellarium at 12:49 a.m. But obviously there's an official time that is much earlier. It is going to be the longest eclipse of the century. So that's important when you hear of rare conditions with these signs in the heavens. as I've been going over with you ever since 2017, well, technically 2016, is that there are significant rarities with all of these biblical star dates. They are rare, exceedingly rare, not just rare in the sense of, oh, it takes a few months or it takes years. No, they're rare. Millennial type rare, if not once ever only rare. And so this is the beaver moon, a cute little beaver. Stay away from the beaver. Let's see. The Leonid meteor showers will be at their peak. And it was cool. I could see the meteor strikes on my stellarium. So that was cool. And what is Leo? The constellation of Leo. That's the lion. And who's the symbol of the lion? Judah. Judah is a lion's whelp. Remember his patriarchal blessing in Genesis. And so Judah is phonetically the same as which state? That's the beehive state? Which Samson killed a young lion, and guess what grew in it, in the carcass? A beehive with honey. Oh, the beehive state with the lion of Judah, phonetically the same as Utah. Huh. You can't make this stuff up. This is just mind-blowing. I can't explain it, but that's the way it is. That death, by the way, that's 21st of August 2017. Samson is not about an actual history. He's the Sun King, and there are deaths involved in the story of the Sun King. Solar eclipses. And it just so happened that he's talking about the one on 21st of August 2017, which, by the way, is Monson's birthday. Was Monson's birthday. Huh. Interesting. You cannot make this up. Dear God. And so, yes, the Leonid meteor showers are going on that night, but the moon is in Taurus. Taurus. The Apis bull of the Egyptians that was sacrificed for the death of the Pharaoh and the institution of the new Pharaoh. That was the whole purpose for the sacrifice of the Apis bull. And there's the moon representing the left eye of religion in the Egyptian religion. The two eyes of Horus, the word Peter for seer. Yep. And there's the two Taurid meteor showers going on. Yay! Church is true! You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. But again, until the event on Earth happens, it's just a pretty sign in the heavens. But like I said, there's a pattern. And that's what I was wondering and hoping it wouldn't be, but it turns out it may be. The morning of. Because Monson's was split. He had the meteor showers on the first full moon, and then where he died, and then the lunar eclipse a month later. Yeah, because that supermoon, that was so big that it was 2 nights of being super. That was awesome. And so, yeah, that's what we got. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. And Holland sent me a death threat of all times. Do you not think they know? Yes, they do. They've been watching my videos and discussing them and responding to them. They know damn well. Don't be fooled into thinking they're the true prophets of God. They're not. I hope I remember to put all the parts in. It'd be kind of awkward for you to get a couple of clips in the middle. What is he talking about? What's going on? I don't understand. This guy's weird. Thumbs down. Oh my God. Yeah, so this week is the showdown. I've been given a death threat by Holland. And it just happens to coincide with the sign of signs this year. As part of the pattern, which only the prophets of the church have been fitting the pattern of. And there's scriptures involved of what's supposed to happen on earth. And I'm going to be too busy recording the event. I'm not going to be going around committing crimes. That's the church who does that, who actually order other people to do that for them because they can't do it themselves because they're the leaders. They need to set the example. God. So, man, you just cannot make that up. The beehive cluster. That is hilarious. That's what I do, though. I keep confirming over and over again to make sure I'm not getting the incorrect information. Because when I first did it, I had it, and it turned out to be 2019 because I started back in December because we're almost in December and went forward, and then I didn't realize because it was an awesome sign in 2019. I was going, whoa! And then, wait a minute, oh, that's 2019. Because I had written it all down. But I was wrong. That's why it's important to double, triple, quadruple, etc. check. So yeah, the showdown, guys. The showdown. And like I told in the beginning, don't do it. Don't do it. You've already made the mistake of so let it be said, so let it be written, so let it be done. Don't do it. You're already in trouble. Somebody's watching. Father Amen, he's not happy. As that passage in Jeremiah, if you read the whole thing rather than taking it out of context, Holland. Let's go over it for you as we finish here, as I'm way late on my run. Let's see, do 7 and then scroll up. Yeah, the verse 30, the final verse of the chapter. Reprobate silver shall men call them, because the Lord hath rejected them. In the name of Amen Christ. Some updates for you since I've been out on my run. The tenant is back. Yay. So yes, Nelson failed. But the damage was already done. Attempted is equal in punishment according to the law as actually following through with it. So if you plan it, you're guilty of having done it. If you're the driver, knowing full well what's going on, you're just as guilty as those who commit the crime. So that there be no confusion. And giving the order, having someone else do it, is, yeah, you're guilty. So, now do you understand the billboard communication? Remember the week when I found the card left at the bus stop? There's a billboard of the bench there. I can't laugh now. It's going to take me some while to recover. You guys just don't believe. You resist. No, Travis, you're wrong. No, no, no. Church is true. Nelson's good. No, no, they would never do this. Never. Jesus leads and guides them. They would never lie to us. So, in the Book of Mormon, there's a couple of things that need to be covered that can be added with this that I was going to include for Friday, because I didn't anticipate Holland sending me a death threat to set this all in motion. The first, to explain Deuteronomy 19 about false accusers and their issuing of punishments, that thereby they get punished instead of the false accused, has to do with Nephi. The one who came to Joseph, son of Joseph. Hold that thought. Nephi is trying to get the Egyptian brass plates, not gold plates this time. And Laban, the name of the father of the two daughters that Jacob was forced into slavery to obtain, because Rachel was his love, not Leah. She had heavenly eyes, but oh, those thighs. 7 brides for 7 brothers. It's actually size, not thighs. But if you're singing it, it can just sort of slip right on through. And actually, men love big thighs back in those days. So Leah, in order to conform to the cultural standards of the day, she was a thin little waif. When Jacob wanted nothing to do with her. Rachel, she was the healthy one. Just so that you know. And lost track. Nephi, Laban. And so they go to try to get the plates. And Laban keeps rejecting them. And then the third time they try to buy them. So they've got the money and say, hey, we want to buy them. Here's everything we own. We want to buy them. And instead he says, you are a robber. They're trying to buy it. So, false accusation. And I will slay thee. There's the punishment. So what happens in the story? Yeah, Deuteronomy 19 kicks into effect. Laban appears drunk, collapses in a drunken stupor, and he argues with the spirit, no, I'm not going to fulfill prophecy. I'm not going to save our people with the records. No, I'm not going to follow the law of Moses. Nephi was a very bad boy. And then finally consented, and the punishment for the false accuser was therefore carried out. Not too many Mormons talk about that, and ex-Mormons leave the church because they're disgusted with that. No, guys. Know your scriptures. Know the ancient cultural traditions back in the day. Otherwise, you might start thinking that Leia was the healthy one. And not going to go there. There's a new size in town, and the old size is old school. The second one comes from 3 Nephi chapter 1. I had no idea there was such a size, but apparently there is, and it's all the rage these days. I, for example, don't care about that size. That is not who I am identified with. Anyway, verse 5. But there were some who began to say that the time was past for the words to be fulfilled, which were spoken by the name of God, the Lamanite. Do you know what Samuel means? Well, I just told you, the name of God. What is the name of God? That's a little vague. Could it be Amen? Why, yes, Travis, yes it could. The Jews are putting Hashem over the wrong name. It's supposed to be over Emmanuel and Isaiah, not over Yahweh. And they were referring to the signs in the heaven. There's supposed to be a birth sign for the first year of the latter days, and a death sign for the last year of the latter days. 2017, 2024. Lehi gives that to us right from the very beginning. And so these people who are unbelievers, doubters, as Nelson won't call them, they begin to mock those who do believe. And in verse 9, now it came to pass that there was a day set apart by unbelievers. Holland, are you listening? Of course you are. That all those who believed in the traditions, me, pick me, I believe, I actually know, should be put to death. Oh, the death threat. Yay, that's a coincidence. Except the sign should come to pass. Well, the sign's going to come to pass. What are you doing, Holland? Cut it out. We know it's going to come to pass. Yeah, that's not what it's referring to. And if this were a real history, this is kind of absurd. The ancient American Indians were very expert in astronomy, very precise, and were able to predict the future signs in the heavens too, just like the Egyptians. Because remember Monson's birthday? Remember that total solar eclipse that was in the first year of the latter days? Guess what that day was for the ancient Egyptians' religious calendar? Their new year. Holy crap, how did they know that? Dear God. And gee, wow. It's in the Book of Mormon right there in the first chapter of Nephi. And so, Nephi, son of Nephi, like Joseph, son of Joseph. I wonder if there's some kind of a coincidence going on here. Because Samuel the Lamanite, name of God, Nephi, is that possibly a new name? When this future Mormon that Joseph Smith says? Because Joseph was the first Amen Christ. Remember that video? Oh, right. Nobody wanted to see that video. They were confused, weren't you? Having Moses on one side and Joseph on the other, representing Heavenly Father and Jesus. You guys were confused. We don't understand. What do you mean? There's only Jesus. Yeah, Joseph Smith said he would die and that there would be somebody through the great and abominable church. Oh, wait a minute. That's in the Book of Mormon. Who would restore Joseph's organization. And, name of God. And Jesus, see, Travis, it's Jesus, comes from outer space, just like Revelation 19, 11, and 17, but not on a flying horse for the last year of the latter days, and he comes to the temple in bountiful and speaks with Nephi, son of Nephi, and says, hey, where are the records of the name of God, the Lamanite? Talking about the fulfillment of the sign of the first day of the latter days and the sign in the heavens for the last year of the latter days. Yeah, the Book of Mormon's a literal history, Travis. It's not code. I mean, this is, literal history. Because, if this were actual code, Joseph Smith would have to actually know that there would be a Mormon who would have the name Sun God. That's absurd. Joseph is fake. Old Testament prophecies are fake. They would have to be fake. They're literal history too. Just ask Christians. And the Jews, literal history. All of it happened. Science is wrong. They don't know what they're talking about with their science and stuff. It would mean that he would have to fulfill every single prophecy in and out of Scripture, because the Scriptures that we have were purposely selected. So there's stuff not put in that should be put in. So like the book of Jasher has extra information about Moses. Remember, Moses says a future Mormon will be like me. And Joseph Smith says, yeah, that Mormon, confirmed. He's coming after I'm assassinated by a Judas, whom I called 2 times, and he wouldn't put those sections in the Doctrine and Covenants after I died. And then he would take Mormons into the desert in violation of Matthew 24. It's not true, right? For Judah to be Utah, and the D and the T being phonetically the same, that would be like, no, it can't be true. No. Sun God, that would be like God and Son, and that would be a last name, No, that can't be true. Ben de Soleil for the central tan, soul, rather than son, but no, because then you're saying, no, wait a minute, then those British druids from olden time who created the myth of St. Patrick battling the snakes when they were long gone before St. Patrick, and thus would be a prophecy about them as they became the high priests of they were the high priests of the sun god, but they would never write out their names. And so it's not until the 1500s, the latter end, and scattered few who go out and have to have a name on records of certain time periods, of certain events, and would be known as sun gods, that they would prophesy about a descendant of theirs who would be a descendant of King David to restore his throne too, and thus would become the Mormon. I mean, there are way too many prophecies that all need to be precisely fulfilled. I mean, you have Ezekiel saying that he's a twig. I mean, dear God, no, those prophecies just can't happen. That's just too weird. No. I mean, it's like predicting a future sign in the heavens. No, it's not. This takes it to a whole nother level. But no, can't happen. I mean, Nelson, he's the one on the throne of Moses. He wouldn't be the false prophet. Would he? No, no, this is just wrong. No. But yeah, Jesus made Nephi the Christ and then took off. But notice the consequences again for Deuteronomy 19, that false accusers said there will be no sign, we're going to murder you. The sign did happen. Guess what happened? The accused got murdered as the entire destruction of the people of the Nephites were destroyed. So that Moses pattern is in the Book of Mormon. So yeah, no, nobody can know of the future. Korihor said that. Why would Korihor lie? No, this is just too weird. No, I can't explain it, guys. I literally can't. Signs in the heavens, yeah, okay. They knew multi-millennia ago. Great, okay. I mean, my DNA says that I originated from South Africa, right below Egypt, as they migrated up into Egypt. But my dad's line was 300,000 BCE from the skeleton that has been discovered. I'm directly tied to him through my dad's side, the good cells. And my mom's side, to a different location in that same region 200,000 years ago. So it's not the same as my dad's skeleton, but yeah, obviously somebody else became my mother's side. So they weren't interbreeding, just a love fest orgy. So that seems to be clear, because 100,000 years go by and there's no interbreeding with my mom and with my dads. So they did keep the tribes separated. That much is clear from just my DNA alone, from way back in the day. But no, Travis, Adam and Eve, not Lilith, were in 4000 BCE. So it is said, so it is written, so as we interpret. Yeah, who told you this? Who? The Jews have their time frame, but that's based on the Bible they constructed by the end of 1000 AD, CE. So that's after Constantine. Oh, is that why Elohim is considered a plural majesty? And why Joseph was saying, oh, hey, this man like Moses will know both Paleo, Hebrew, and Egyptian and fix the Bible, as Ezekiel says. Remember? Stick of Judah, stick of Joseph. Oh, you thought it was the Book of Mormon, did you? Who told you that? Oh, Nelson did? Yeah, Nelson doesn't seem to know his scriptures very well, does he? He thinks Israel means let God prevail. When it's defined right in the text. Yah, Prince of God. He now is supposed to give birth to the future Mormon rather than his brother Esau, because he usurped it, Jacobed it. And then Jacob goes on to marry Judith, or Esau, sorry. Esau goes on to marry Judith, and their firstborn son is named Sun God? Huh. Go figure. And so then Jacob, his firstborn son is Seir, son of Seir. And then there's Judah, Utah. Well, he gives birth to Utah, and that symbol is the lion. And Samson, the Sun King, kills the lion, and a beehive cluster is right there. You can't make this up. Dear God, how do they know? That's just too freaky. I still can't grasp it. But, you know, agency, people could refuse, you know, like, say, Mormons refuse to save the Constitution and America and instead join in the insurrection. Or, you know, an exodus. They refuse to go. And so the time comes and goes, and then the day for destruction comes, the abomination of desolation, and they would need to have their lives spared, as they have never thanked him. Dear God, we have no Zion to flee to for safety, refuge, and peace, Mormons. Whose fault is that? Yours. Alright. That's enough. This is further into the video so that you won't watch it. I mean, it's not like it would be me. I mean, I would have to have Good Cell somehow be Sun God. That's just, no. No, I mean, good would have to be the old British for good, sometimes gut, because T and D are phonetically the same. No, and I'd have to be a descendant of those British Druids, and my birthday would have to be the death day of St. Patrick. No, that's just, because Joseph Smith, he established the Relief Society on that same day. That would be absurd. And then the Deuteronomy 19 for when Brigham Young kicked out Thomas B. Marsh and had him illegally, according to church rules. He's not supposed to excommunicate people, but he did, Thomas B. Marsh, to become president, exalting himself, as Joseph Smith called him Judas, on that same day. So Deuteronomy 19 all of a sudden kicked in. And so then you have section 85 verse 7, which again, Brigham Young is claiming that he's verse 7 and that Joseph is verse 8. And they put it in the last year before he died. No, and then Cell would somehow be Sol, as in Soleil, Bende Soleil. No, because that would mean that my name is the same as my dad's, obviously, but that, I mean, yeah, Wayne is my dad's name, but I know Twig is the acronym, But that's just no. Every single prophecy has to be fulfilled. That's impossible. No one person could fulfill each and every single one. Like Jasher with Moses, he actually blisters his left thumb, and puts the coal instead of the jewel in his mouth as a young boy. No. That can't happen. He can't have a scarred tongue that cannot handle severely hot foods and spicy stuff. No. That's just too wild and way out there. I mean, Mormons don't even believe anyway. So they don't even care. They're looking for Jesus. They think they're Christian. Despite Joseph in the first vision saying we're not Christian and we don't believe in Jesus. Right there in the first vision. And yet Mormons, even me, would go around, Joseph Smith saw Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ, and they said, you're going to be the means for establishing a Christian organization with Jesus as the Christ. Dear God, how did we get so deceived that we didn't see that? And they tried to have us memorize it. I wouldn't memorize. I would never strive for the scripture mastery. I'd do associative memory. Dear God. Not the life I was expecting. And now my life is being threatened by a prophet of the church again. Monson was the first one to send me the death threat. I was treated exactly like a Benedict, except that I didn't die. But again, you attempt it, you order it, you're just as guilty. And he was the first lightning strike. That would just blow my mind, and I would probably be in tears, and I probably wouldn't be able to do the interview, which Holland was involved with the interview when he went to the hospital. Yeah, I've got that interview. Remember, I botched it by not recognizing the Eastern Time versus Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, well, he was merciful and gave me another opportunity for Friday. Of all days, because I botched the first one. Dear God. If there's breaking news while I'm doing the interview, I'm going to be pissed. Unless I'm the breaking news, as I get assassinated live on the internet. Rather than out on my run that morning recording the lunar eclipse. Oh dear God. So yeah, I've got to figure out how to fix the fan. Probably have to go somewhere else and figure something else out and blah blah blah. Well, this took way longer than I wanted.